Brics, de-dollarization plan. The Brics de-dollarization plan refers to the collective effort of the Brics nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to reduce their reliance on the US dollar in international trade, finance, and reserves. The goal is to create a more multipolar global financial system that lessens the dominance of the dollar while increasing the use of their national currencies and creating alternative mechanisms for international trade. Here are some key aspects of the plan. Shift to local currencies for trade. BRICS countries are looking to conduct more trade and settle transactions in their national currencies, rather than in US dollars. For example, India and Russia have already been trading in rupees and rubles, and China has been using the yuan in its trade with many countries. China's role is crucial, as it has been promoting the yuan internationally, especially through its Belt and Road Initiative and cross-border digital yuan trials. Brazil has also increased its reliance on yuan in trade deals with China. Alternative payment systems. The BRICS nations are developing alternatives to the SWIFT payment system, which is currently dominated by Western powers. Russia has been promoting its SPFS system, while China has its CIPS system for cross-border payments in yuan. This helps mitigate the risk of sanctions, particularly for countries like Russia, which have been cut off from SWIFT due to Western sanctions following the Ukraine conflict. BRICS New Development Bank. The New Development Bank, established by BRICS, aims to finance infrastructure and sustainable development projects in member countries and other developing economies. It supports the de-dollarization agenda by providing financing in local currencies rather than US dollars. The NDB has already started issuing bonds in currencies like the Chinese yuan and South African rand to reduce dependence on the dollar. Impact of US sanctions and geopolitical factors. Russia, in particular, has been at the forefront of de-dollarization due to the sanctions imposed by the West after the annexation of Crimea and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. These sanctions cut off Russia from key financial markets, forcing it to trade in non-dollar currencies and invest in gold and Chinese yuan as reserves. Geopolitical factors such as the US-China trade war and growing Western sanctions have accelerated the urgency for BRICS nations to find alternatives to the dollar-dominated financial system. Future digital currency cooperation. BRICS nations are also exploring the use of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, to facilitate trade and payments within the group. China has already advanced its digital yuan, and other BRICS members are investigating the development of their own CBDCs, which could be integrated to bypass traditional financial systems. A BRICS digital currency has been discussed, but details are still in the early stages. Global influence and expansion. The BRICS group is considering expanding to include other nations such as Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and Iran, which would further strengthen the group's capacity to challenge dollar hegemony. A wider BRICS Plus alliance could facilitate even greater use of alternative currencies in international trade, particularly for energy transactions, which are traditionally dominated by the dollar. The BRICS de-dollarization plan aims to reduce the group's vulnerability to external shocks, especially those driven by the dominance of the US dollar in global trade and finance. By increasing the use of national currencies, developing alternative payment systems, and potentially introducing a digital currency, BRICS countries are working toward a more diversified and multipolar financial system. However, full de-dollarization is a complex and long-term process, as the US dollar still dominates global reserves and trade.